The cropping's a little weird because this was kind of a last minute thing, guys. So if the cameras look a little weird, that's because I literally just set everything up while we were on the BRB screen. Because I wasn't really planning to do this today. I'm going to bring up the browser here. Hopefully you guys can see this. So I'm going to cover up the cams real quick with the browser. Hopefully that'll work now. And we're going to talk a little bit about RA and what's going on with
Blitz.
What?
Don't
interrupt.
But no one wants to get Frank.
We're going to be talking about Retro Achievements and what's going on with the Retro Achievements community as far as what the plans are. I can't stress this enough. I'm going to turn this down. I am not affiliated with RA directly. I'm just a guy that collects achievements. We're all three of us just community members within RA. Not one person speaking today will be a direct representative of Retro Achievements or have any kind of inside information or be able to answer any direct questions. We're simply having a discussion between three community members because we see what's going on, and there's some concern there, but there's some good there. Some of us may not agree on everything talking today, but basically what's happening is and I'm just going to be as general as possible, and then I'm going to let Gal talk, and then we'll let Frank chime in, and then we'll all three discuss. But basically what's happening is they're introducing a tiered badge system into Retro Achievements, which I'm very much in favor of. And the only really real problem I have is that, it's not even necessarily a problem, is that I'm not really sitting well with the idea of badges for just simply beating the game, getting from the start of the game to the end credits. And I know a lot of people feel the same way I do. I know a lot of people are upset and don't even like the idea at all. I know some people are completely on board. So it seems like there's differing opinions going on. I'm kind of a middle ground. I'm kind of okay if we do something with the implementation where it stands out when you get a badge, and it should stand out, and it should be very prominent and very separate, I think, from just beating a game. I think beating a game is kind of a participation trophy kind of thing. And I don't even know that that's what they're doing. And I can't stress enough that this is kind of an ongoing thing. So I don't know exactly what's going to be implemented, how it's going to be implemented, if it's going to change. I don't know how much they're listening to what our input. I think I gather that they are listening to our input a lot, though, based on the fact that they put this up in the forum and the GitHub. And you guys can look on screen right now and see what they posted. And if you guys really want to be in chat, want to be involved in this conversation, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to go to the Retro Achievements Discord. There is a feature discussion thread under the Retro Achievements category, and this is where all the discussion has been had, including mock-ups and things like that. And this is a lot of the community people speaking out and kind of giving their opinions on it. And I'm going to start off by kind of giving my suggestion, what I think, or what I think would be a good suggestion. And then I'm going to turn it over to Gal and let him kind of give his insight, because I think Gal usually has his ear to the ground pretty well with the Retro Achievement stuff. So he kind of knows a little bit more of the inside track to what's going on than I do, simply because he's more active in the community than I am, although I hope to fix that soon. But I feel like I've talked enough. I'm going to real quick say what my idea for a solution could be, and I think it's kind of a good compromise. And I think it's cool to have something for people who just beat a game, but it needs to be something separate, like a sticker or something a little less prominent than a badge. Something to say, hey, you know, well done, champ. Attaboy, champ. You got the thing. You beat the game. And then if you want to go step above and beyond, something separate, a separate area could be used for badges that show up more prominent or spotlighted, because I think badges are a little bit because when you go for the badges, when you go for the masteries, you bleed and sweat practically for those things. It's a fucking slog. And, I think something needs to be said about that. And I think that needs to be displayed accurately with the achievements. With the badges. And really, that's my idea. I've heard other people like the idea. I've heard other people suggest similar ideas. I'm not even exactly necessarily married to that specific idea, but that's kind of where I'm at with it, and that's kind of my 2 cents. So I think I've talked long enough, so we're going to let Gal just kind of give any insight that he might have in his opinions and go from there. Take it, Gal.
You forgot that Gal is a junior dev for RA.
I forgot to mention that Gal. Thank you. I forgot to mention that Gal is a junior dev for RA, so he does do deving on sets. So he knows a little bit more about the inner workings of the sets and stuff than I think Frank and I do. So he can provide some valuable insight as far as that goes. Maybe technical limitations or something like that he might have some insight on. So take it away, Gal.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast, bud. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Talking with you guys and everything. First, I want to say it's a pleasure being with you, and even though Frank can sometimes be, Frank, but I enjoy you all. but having said all that, all the ribbing and all that kind of stuff, getting to the subject of what's changing and everything. I mean, off the hand, I'll say that again, once again to stress, as it's a work in progress. There's nothing set in stone with these particular things that we're talking about. It's all kind of being in flux with what these kinds of things are going to mean and stuff. But generally speaking, the idea is behind these kind of changes is the fact that it's trying to find some kind of middle ground where those kind of players that are going through these sets, they're getting things, kind of showing their progression through a set or stuff like that. You get something for getting all the progression achievements. You get something when you're going through getting all specific challenges, all particular collectathons, different things like that. And, these would all give you as a user on RA, certain things to showcase on your profile in there. Um, as to my opinion about all those things, I'm kind of like Bud. I'm kind of in a mixed place with regard to it because I do think it's a great thing to kind of find that middle ground where you're kind of approachable to different camps within gaming because again, we all don't game the same way or we don't all approach things in the same way. We all have different things that drive us to enjoy the games that we do. At the same time though, I think, and I'm sure again many of those who are working on these changes are attentive to this, is the fact that RA is a competitive website. We're about challenging ourselves with these specific games. It's allowing us ways to play these games in ways that maybe we never thought of. It's challenging us about how well we actually know the game's mechanics. How well do we know how to get through something that we can say clearly, I've mastered this game. And no matter what you throw at me, if I play Mega Man X, I can do it because I just know this game. Or Symphony of the Night, as I'm sure many people like to joke with me, because I played that game more times than I think anyone on planet Earth outside of a few people have probably played, other than that have beat me on that. But that's kind of the idea that I've thought, and it's kind of making sure that when we're finding that kind of middle ground, that that we're able to make sure that yes, you're getting better, you're doing certain things, but it doesn't stop there. There's also those other ways to play the game and other ways to challenge yourself, and only when you do those will you get something like really big in that way. So I kind of agree with you, Bud. Like there should be kind of like that what you get for mastering or badging a set, like doing all the challenges, should clearly be more pronounced than if you're just doing progression achievements. You're just beating the game, because that's like the bare minimum. That's like on the floor. That's like what you have to do before you can do anything of challenges. You should be able to beat the game. Like you should know like basically how to get through it. If you can't do that, then beating the game without getting any sub tanks, hard tanks or anything, that's probably not the thing you want to come out the gate doing.
Right. And to reinforce kind of your point, yeah, and that's what it feels like to me. Just and look, and there's no getting from the start of a game to the end credits is, there's an accomplishment there. It's more than nothing. So I'm okay with having the sticker or something like that, but it does, a sticker or a smaller badge or whatever the hell we're going to call it. Stripey brought up the idea of calling it a pen because she thought sticker sounded condescending. I'm not trying to condescend, so pen or whatever. I don't really care what we call it. I just think it should be separate. And also to your point of, it sounds like you didn't say the words, but you were alluding to the fact that it's almost like a participation trophy. It's the bare minimum. That should be like the entry bar before you even attempt retro achievements, is you should be able to beat video games. I told my wife this, what was going on the other day, and she doesn't play video games. She's not a gamer at all. But the first words out of her mouth without missing a beat was, that sounds like when they give participation trophies to little leaguers.
Yeah, and I can understand that feeling about it. Although I will say that I do agree with the fact that we want to have something that shows people progressing through something. It's just kind of finding that kind of ground where you're not, saying, "Oh, this is great," and like, you have everything on it, and that's all that there is about it. I mean, I would think it would be good. Like my idea of it, like you gave your idea or pitch of what something was. Like my idea was something like akin, like, okay, you have a badge that's on your page, but like it's not complete in some way. Like maybe it's grayed out, or there's some area that indicates that, oh, this is the bare floor. And then as you go through, each challenge or whatever, it gets colored in more, or it changes in a certain way, so that once it gets to like you've badged the set, like it's far and away like
Right.
really out there, whatever. That's at least what I think about it. But I've seen other people posting things on the GitHub where they have things like, oh, this is the certain badge that you haven't completed yet. It's at a certain tier, and then they have something that's separate, like with mastered or something like that, which I think, which would be kind of like platinum, I suppose, if we were thinking like how PlayStation does it in some way. You would have different things. Like there are certain things that they're showing that I kind of I'm good with the idea of having something where it's like clearly something mastered, and then you have gold or different tiers for like different things. And like everyone's giving like different
Yeah.
aspects about it of what they think or what have you. But I think the key thing is whatever that change is, I think it should be something that clearly shows that when you master something, it is of a bigger deal.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
if
It
it's
should be
something
spotlighted in
that
some way or
that
highlighted.
you've just
Yeah.
gotten through it in some way.
I'm showing
Another
a.
thing I
Oh,
think.
go ahead.
Oh
Well,
yeah, I
before you
see
say
it.
that, just let me cut in real quick. I'm showing a mock-up on the screen that shows it's not by me. I think this is the one that was done by Cochise. I can't remember the full username, or it was done by somebody. I saw it in the Discord, and now I'm viewing the GitHub. And it just shows games beaten. The badges look exactly the same, and games mastered. This is kind of what I'm talking about. It sounds like you kind of like similar kind of idea, but maybe more of an evolving type badge. I've seen that recommendation too, and I kind of like that too. But
Yeah, like an evolving one,
this
exactly.
is similar
That's
to what my proposal is with the games beaten and games mastered. Although I would make the games beaten the same size that they currently are, and then I would make games mastered double the size, and then you can even have tiers under the mastery category, and you can have different colored borders. I see that idea. That seems to be my favorite idea, the different colored borders. I also like the idea of the evolving badges. Maybe it starts out black and white and then fills in color, or maybe it's like a glass filling up the more of a percentage. I thought about the idea of myself, even that I haven't actually said yet, but you made me think of that, of what if the border itself kind of went around, filled in, going around, say, counterclockwise, like start at the top and then 25%, you get 25% of the, and then going around another 25%. You can use whatever percentage you want, but it kind of goes around. And similar concept to what you're proposing with the evolving badges. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, anything that kind of shows that you're building towards something, I think is always the way to go. Because again, I mean, I totally agree with where, where as a site, it's good to have more people engaging with it and kind of, really wanting to try out, these sets and really, wanting to, get more involved with it and stuff. But I think always, and again, this is what was said in the community post. This was said, among many, is the idea that, we want, there's obviously, wanting to know how we can do it, that we want to encourage people to go beyond just simply beating the game, in that sort of way. That's a
Right.
good starting point. But like, what kind of thing will really guide people to say, I want more
Right.
out of this experience? And
Right.
and I think, I think a modulating or evolving type of system is a good one. I think anything that kind of ranks or puts something up there that shows, hey, you mastered this. That's really, that's really special.
Right.
That will always be, the kind of thing in there. I'm also a fan of also customizing your profile too. I know that RA already has something like that where you can move your badges around. You can do things to kind of show your masteries in a certain way. Like if you want to like group them together to show that you have, Zelda badges, Castlevania badges, things of that nature. I think it'd be nice if in a tiered system we also had the ability to kind of showcase the badges we want. So like if I want to showcase only the ones I've mastered and not really showing any of the others that I have progression, I think that'd be like, so that way I'm always like kind of like, I'm always a fan of I've done everything, that what I want to show on my profile is these are all the things to do. It'd be kind of cool if I could have that kind of control.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Over that sort of
Yeah,
thing
because
as
that's
well.
what that brings me to. I was going to save this for later, but that brings me to another point that I actually just thought of last night. And I talked about it a little bit on my stream today, is what happens, because and Frank this isn't going to affect Frank, because Frank badges every fucking thing that pops on his wheel. That's his shtick. That's his thing. That's what he does. But for me, and Lifted and some other people, Lifted Senses and some other people, we don't necessarily badge every game we play, although I tend to badge more than not. But for game, like if I wanted to do, let's say, because you guys know how I am about RPGs, I don't really want to do the badges for RPGs. They're just they're too time consuming. But maybe I want to do a playthrough of the game, and maybe I want to collect some achievements on the way. But maybe I don't necessarily want to badge it. But maybe I also don't want the simple beat the game badge to show up with my other badges or to show up on my profile. Perhaps I just want to get the achievements and not have that, because then I would feel obligated to go further. And because the way I am, if I'm going to go for a game, I want to have, if I'm going to go for a badge, excuse me, I want the fucking badge. I want the top tier gold, platinum, whatever the fuck we call it, badge. I don't want the pin or the sticker or whatever we're calling it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just the type of gameplay I do. That's the way we do with the more competitive gamers. So if I have that entry level badge or just beat the game badge, whatever it's called, then I kind of feel like I'm kind of stuck or I'm kind of beholden to it. And you can't. And we talked earlier today about, you know, you can clear out your achievements. Yeah, but the badge still stays there. And why should I have to do that? And, you know, or I could just turn off achievements before I start the game if I just want to do a casual game, but then I don't get any achievements. Maybe I still want to get some. Well, I guess the point system is different. I don't understand the point system, so I don't want to get into that today. We're just talking about the tiers. But, you know, there's all kinds of reasons that maybe I want to play a game, but maybe and beat a game, but maybe I don't want that badge or any badge, and I just want to have that experience and then have that separate from my retro achievement stuff. I want to have my cake and eat it too, basically.
Yeah, so I think it'd be good if there was a way, like, at least what I was thinking with customizability, that, like, depending on who you are, you know, what you want to do, what kinds of things you want to showcase, there's something. And I think that would really go a long way to kind of, I guess, helping different gamers as well, since they'd all have different expectations of what they want or what they find interesting in that way. That, you know, if they want to really showcase, hey, these are the ones that I've beaten the game. I'm all about beating games. They have all those particular things on their profile of, you know, what games they've played basically, and they've gone through or whatever. And then, you know, now those like myself or Frank or others where we're really into, you know, it's not just beating the game but like completing them and you know, doing all the challenges and stuff like that. Well, then that can be my, you know, our profile in a way. You know, we showcase these are all the games I've done all their sets, and, you know, here they are, you know, prominent, you know, here shown in that sort of way. Again, just an idea. It's not anything, you know. Of course, I'm saying this as someone who's not a programmer who knows how all these things, you know,
and
go
we need to be
work,
clear
or
about that. That, you know, we don't know all the
Um,
logistics behind this. Some of these things may be
you know,
big asks, but I think a lot of it would be worth it. And I think it would. I don't think anything we're asking is actually beyond the realm of possibility. Maybe not for short term, but maybe something to build towards. Even I really like the idea of being able to customize your profile and, you know, and have some control over. I know you can select the order of the badges now, but I mean, select what shows up on your profile and what doesn't show up. That would be a pretty damn good solution, I think. Maybe we could do it that way. I could just say, hey, just don't show the beaten games and only show the badge games, and then problem solved like that.
Yeah, and then that's what it is. And then, you know, if someone else feels differently, hey, I mean, you do you.
And they
I
can
mean,
make their
heck,
profile the way they want. I like that. Yeah.
Heck, I'd even say even further, like maybe some people just focus on their completion percentage, but they don't really focus so much on site rank.
Yeah.
Maybe they only show on their profile, hey, look, this is the completion percentage of what I did. Again, I don't know how all of that goes. There's probably a lot of calculating, a lot of
Well, yeah, again, and this is an open discussion, you know, so yeah, you know, float your ideas. I mean, it doesn't mean it's doable. Again, we're unofficial. We're just three schlubs talking. Speaking of three schlubs, we haven't heard from Frank yet.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to you guys talk. You guys can keep going.
All right. Okay, Frank's just here for eye candy.
Frank is just present. He's
but see, I'm thinking of like.
Well, I know you got some input on this, dude. So you know.
I'm friends with a lot of devs and admins that kind of, you know, didn't get involved with the discussion. And from a dev's perspective, if you just give badges for games, you know, they make 100 to 200 to 300 achievement sets. Who says that people even attempt their achievements anymore? And they take the time to make those achievements.
Yeah.
You think devs want to see 12, 13, 14, 15 people
That's a good
attempting
point.
achievements now?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got to think about that perspective. How do you know devs are going to want to dev anymore after that?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of devs just in passing, and I know that they're not all the. I know that all the devs aren't 100% on board with everything, and I'm not going to name names, obviously, but yeah, I know some of the I know a lot of the devs also have concerns. I'm not going to speak to those concerns, but yeah, it's not just the players.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's always, I mean, from my minor thought about it is that, you know, the interesting thing is, of course, always juggling, you know, what as you're making achievements, as you're thinking about, you know, where things fit, how things are going into there and everything. And, you know, I'm not sure how that's going to go with previous sets, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of logistics in having to, you know, fit all the sets that are already on the site already, you know, in that sort of thing. So there's already going to be a lot of, you know, time in really working all of that out, I'm sure. But even beyond all of that, it's kind of like I've never really been too heavy on how many people necessarily play it. I've just had fun really creating sets. Like it's just been really fun just, you know, learning about them and doing stuff like that. And the
Mhm.
way I see it is if anyone gets to like experience it and anyone gets to go through, you know, doing it and stuff like that, like that's a win. You know,
Yeah.
if anyone happens to go through with it. Like I mean, it's just my perspective on it. I mean, I know it. I mean, I probably won't give as much credence to like progression on by itself as much as I used to. Like it'll be,
Yeah.
you know, they're there,
Mhm.
but then of course, you know, there'll be weight, you know, really put on. But you know, here are some other challenges for you to do and stuff like that to really, you know, I think encourage that if you really want the most out of my set, you know, you'll really want to challenge yourself. But again, that's just me
Right.
on the matter. I mean, you know, I totally get
Yeah.
that, you know, there is a question to be had that, you know, for those that, you know, really put a lot of
Yeah.
time into what kind of challenges I want to put in the set, you know, it is disheartening if, you know, you do all of that and like a number of people will just be like, well, I already have quote unquote badge for doing this, so therefore I don't, you know, really have to really do that in any
Yeah.
way. I don't really feel like there's any pull for me on that way. I can totally, you know, understand why there would be that feeling in there
Yeah.
about it. And that's why I think we back to our earlier conversation, why I think there really should hopefully be emphasis more on that you've mastered the set more than
Mhm.
you've just, you know, done all just beating the game
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
way.
I know some devs like it too, like the tiered system too, and
Yeah.
I really and I want to say this again. I like the tiered system. I'm not against the tiered system at all. I've been talking about a tiered system for a long fucking time. It's just the weird thing about beating a game and getting a badge that looks
I
the same as the other badges and is in the same category alongside the other badges. It's just I don't. It's just not
Yeah,
going to sit well with me. I don't think it's going to
I can
ever
understand.
will.
Yeah.
I think with them getting rid of softcore off the leaderboards, they had to do something for more casual type
Yeah,
players.
Yeah,
and I'm good with
it's
that.
kind of giving both
Yeah,
something, and I totally understand
Yeah.
that drive. I just think you want to be careful when going on that drive
yeah.
that it's not like okay, you know, we're completely, you know, uh, going in that complete direction for the
Mm.
popularity over
And
the
that's what
fact of what the
worries
site
me.
is, which is,
That's what worries me
you
is
know,
trying to
that way.
please everybody. You always never end up pleasing nobody.
They're
That is yep, that is the
it
phrase.
they're I think they're trying to answer the question to players that are like, "Oh yeah, I'm not doing this. Those achievements sound way too
Yeah,
hard."
yeah,
Yeah, they're trying to encourage them, and
and that's
so
good.
it's kind of finding that middle ground,
Yeah, and that
as I
is
said.
good. And there, I think there's, I know, and I think there is a solution here. And there's no such thing as a solution that's going to please everybody, obviously. But I think there's a solution that
Correct.
can please more people. And I
Yep.
think that, the veterans, that have been doing this for a long time. And I'm not saying that they're not considering it. I know they are. So don't get me wrong.
Well,
But I
they
just think
are.
we need to be considered, and
Yep,
that
I agree.
the what we've worked for, because maybe we don't dev, maybe we do these sets, but we work hard to get these achievements. And like I said, we bleed and we sweat and we curse and we get frustrated and yell and all that shit, and have a good time. But it's a lot of hard work and a lot goes into that. And I think that needs to
Yep.
be rewarded a little bit more heavily than just, get from A to B and, get from beginning to end of a game. Um, and I'm okay with them having something for that. I just think it needs to be in its own category, and then not in a degraded way. What's the word I'm looking for? Not in a lesser way, but you achieved this. That's great. Way to go, champ. And then in a non-condescending way, excuse me. That's what I meant. And then have the masteries still stand above and beyond, and still be something special, and still reflect the effort that goes into deving them and achieving, playing and achieving them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
And
re,
my
re, oh, you go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go
No, no,
ahead.
you go ahead, Frank. I've talked
Re-
enough.
Revolution, I know we're not doing questions yet, but Revolution brought up something that's good too. From what I understand, that they're not doing anything to the bonus or subsets of games,
Yeah, those
which
are their own thing.
That's
which
good.
but I would like I wish they would do a tier system for the bonus sets too. Like have if you got to do glitches on the game, have that its own section.
Mhm.
If there's just extra hard challenges, have a
Yeah.
challenge section. Because I would
Yeah.
love to try some of the challenges, but I don't like glitching games.
I think segmenting
Yeah,
the
so
bonus sets makes a little
Right.
bit more sense even than segmenting the main sets, to be honest.
that could be
Yeah.
another way of encouraging people to take on bonus sets. Here,
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
these, and then
Yep.
other kind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never
that
touched
that
a bonus set, so yeah, and that's
I've
just
only touched
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if
you
there's
guided one.
because there's not really that much of an incentive for me to get one, and that goes back to a lot of people's points. I have the badge, I got the trinket, I got the trophy. What else do I got to prove? That I can do glitches and speed runs? Okay, if I got something extra for that, then maybe that would be that would be an incentive. And I still think people will be incentivized to go for the harder sets after they get the pin or the stick or whatever
Hey, let me tell
whatever
you
they're given for
something.
beating the game. I still think there's incentive to go there with a tiered system, because okay, I got the
Yeah.
bronze, I'll go for the silver. Okay, I got the silver, I'll go for the gold. Although I would do, it's kind of a 3-tier, but it's more of a 2-tiered because they're separate. You have the stickers, and then you have a 2-tiered badge system where you have the main hardcore fare, then maybe some stuff a little bit more hard for a hardcore badge or whatever the fuck they call it, gold tier, whatever. And then you could still have the bonus sets. In my ideal world.
I think they have to keep them separate.
Yeah.
They have to keep them separate. If not, it's going to make me do a lot more bonus sets than I want to.
Well, I mean, the thing is that also a lot of times bonus sets have different structure to how they're necessarily put together than core sets or other kinds of things. So what's approachable on those sets will not be the same for core. So bringing them together in there is always going to be not a great fit in there. That's probably why they're keeping it separate, I would think.
I'm glad. That's like one thing I'm really happy about is they're keeping the subsets, because the subsets are just based to give you 1 billion achievements on one game.
Yeah.
And it's your choice if you want to do it or not.
Me too. I agree with that 100%.
Oh yeah, and those conversations and everything about what belongs in each set. I mean, even in a tiered system, you'll have stuff like that, too, on the margins.
Well, there have to be guidelines when you're on a tiered system. There's just going to have to be guidelines on what goes in what level.
Yep.
Or what type of achievements goes in what level, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, but let me tell you something also, just always to say is that I think, it's also to be careful that, we always say, oh, people, once they have something, that's it in that way. I was when I was starting out on RA, I was not like the kind of completionist or achievement hunter that I am now. I mean, if you had asked me years ago whether I was going to be someone really interested in doing the kind of challenges that there are, I would have told you no. I don't know why people run for achievements or whatever. And yet, you fast forward to today, it was because I played many of those sets to start with. For Symphony of the Night, I keep bringing that up, or other ones where I played those games a lot many years ago. In fact, before I started RA, I hadn't played Symphony of the Night in almost a decade.
Yeah.
Because I thought to myself, oh, I've done all this. I have nothing to really, do with and everything. And yet playing RA, I got to have a newfound appreciation for those games because it challenged me to really see them in ways about it. And I have to think that even in a tiered system, there will be players just like me like that out there that
I think so.
will have that. And it's all just about how it's set up in that way so that the next me out there, who's going onto the site for the first time will get that kind of incentive, just like I did.
And to even add to that point, I mean, I think I agree with that. I think a tiered system works and it incentivizes people, and I think that's good to have. And also to add to your point, I think that like when I started out doing retro achievements, I always considered myself a really fucking shitty gamer. Now I'm better than I used to be, and it's because of RA. I mean, it's because of pushing myself to do these sets, and then I get that when I got that first set in Mario 64 before the stupid revision, which we won't get into. But when I did that, my first set was Mario 64. Frank encouraged me to do that, and Frank was awesome about encouraging me to do that. And with his help, his encouragement, I was able to believe in myself enough to fucking get the thing. And then once I got it, that really incentivized me to do more. And the more I do, the better I'm getting at video games, and I'm still getting better and still improving. And it's because it pushes you, and it's an external motivator that does push you to strive to get better, to get those achievements. And if they're just handing something out for beating the game, that I don't think it really necessarily takes the incentive away, but it might for some people. It might be this is good enough. I got the picture. Look, I got this wall full of these things. Then what's the point of doing the other thing? And then if somebody goes and looks at, say, Frank's profile, and they sees all his achievements he's got, and if it's just got a different colored border, most people aren't even going to notice, for one thing. They're whatever, Yeah, they're just okay. So it's got a red border instead of a gold border. I mean, all right, what does that even mean? and how many people are going to dig and how many people are going to give a fuck.
Yeah, and so I think the key is having that kind of, drive, that incentive or that thing of showing, yeah, you have this, but look at this. Look what you could have in that sort of way. That's really going to be, I feel, the key. And I stress that seems to be, from what I've read and everything, from whatever little hole I'm from, that I'm reading stuff and everything like that. That's very much the thing that's, finding that balance that many who are working on it are doing.
That's
and
why
that's why, hopefully it all can work out that way. That'd be great, I
that's
think.
why as you read through the forums, it seems like they're leaning heavy favorites to where you're going to have 3 sections on your page, where it
Mhm.
says where you got the beat the game badge, completionist badge, and then challenge badge.
Yeah.
Which I don't like it, but
Mm.
That's better than having
uh,
them all lumped together with just different colored
yeah,
borders.
yep,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the whole different color
yep.
border thing is great for the tiers, but I just think the just beating the game just should be on its own tier, I guess, its own thing. And then you can have a completionist badge, like we were talking about earlier. Get the 100% of the game as the original game developers intended. That could be your bronze, and then you could have the more challenges. That could be your silver. The more challenging fare, and then you can have another higher challenge where you could throw like the speed runs and stuff like that. You could throw that in the gold tier, I guess, or not. I'm just using speed runs as an example, but you know what I mean. The hardest of the hard achievements can be under the gold tier, medium hard silver tier, and then completionist run can be the bronze tier, and then beating the game can be you get your sticker or pin or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just kind of whatever kind of thing that can show more prominence or aspects to where you are. I think, that's always, at least to me, preferable alongside all the other, customizing or things like that, which I think would help to med out at least some of the differences that different users might feel.
I really like the customizable profile approach. I think that's pretty. It would be probably a lot on the back end that they would have to do. So maybe
They'd have to upgrade the site a lot.
they would have to. They would have to do a lot of upgrades to the site. So that's more of a off in the distance kind of thing. But I think that would be a cool thing to work towards.
And again, I'm always patient. I just love the changes and things as they come, and they've always been pretty good about being open with the community, and that's what I love a lot tremendously, is that I mean, one of the things I always felt, and one of the reasons why I ultimately went on the road I did to where I'm helping to develop, my own sets and stuff, is because those who are admins, those who have been people of site, have felt that any one of us can contribute and be helpful in it, and in that way, and that kind of approachability and everything is a strength.
That's one of the best things about it is that the community members are the ones making the sets. I always think that's cool when somebody pops in chat and they're like, "Oh, you're the guy that worked on this, that did this set. That's fucking awesome." Yeah, and Frank flips them off.
Well, that's Frank.
That's Frank.
And I'm sure anyone on RA knows.
That's Frank. Yeah, let's all. Well, Gal can't do it because he's not on camera. Well, Frank and I will do the birds. Frank. Bird time.
but it's. I think it's great, and again, as I say, as we're doing, as you saw the links and everything, chat and all that. I mean, this is a conversation that's ongoing. So if you're members of the RA and you really want to talk about different ideas and stuff, it's there for you.
Yeah, there's a big long thread. I'm kind of showing it. I've been showing it off and on as we've been going, but you can see the size of this thread.
Like one thing I'll say is like this gives Paul an opportunity to do RA, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Like he can just beat a game and be like, look, I got badges now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for that. Exactly. And I'm all for that. Like I said, the tiered badge system is an excellent idea, and I'm really fucking glad they're doing it. So I hope this doesn't sound like we're dogging on this or we're shitty about it. I'm not shitty at all. I just hope I just can see the implementation going really well or really bad, and I just don't want it to go the really bad direction. So
you want to you just don't want it to turn into a everybody. You don't want it to be babyfied.
Yeah, I don't want it to get nerfed.
Yep.
Just say what it is. I don't want it to get nerfed, and it feels like that would be a nerf if it's all just lumped in together and everything just looks all the same. If they do it where, and again, I don't even mind the 3 tiers, the gold, silver, bronze, whatever we call it, being all in one category, the mastery category, and those all be together, and then the other category be for, hey, I beat the game. I got start to finish, I saw the credits.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the same time, like, I'm playing off of something Paul just said.
Yeah, I saw it.
You don't understand that how much flack the devs get when they make hard achievements. I think that's a lot of why they're leaning towards.
That's why that's why anything gets nerfed ever.
Yep. There's just too much complaining and too much. Too much people like, oh, this is my favorite game, but I don't have the required skill or time to master this. So that's why
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is leaning
And
towards
you
the
know
way
what?
it is.
That to be fair, I mean that's different styles of gamers, and I think different styles of gamers I would like to see in RA, and I don't,
Exactly.
and that's fine if you're just a casual, because I started off as a filthy casual player, and I had no other choice but to do the hardcore because that's what was there. And if I did softcore, Frank would never let me hear the end of it. But, but I mean,
You
seriously
are
though,
100%
an entry
correct.
level, get in, and, get something done, get a little bit of accomplishment, maybe get some encouragement from the community to do more. I'm not against that at all. I just don't want to see it all lumped in together, and so where it dilutes the achievements of getting the achievements.
The people that do bust their head up against the wall to get things.
Because we work hard for those fucking sets, and the devs work hard making them.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
That's the biggest thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not smart enough to do coding and programming and stuff myself, but I can imagine, you making 125 achievement set, and you see only 12 people do that set. It's got to be discouraging. You just spent all that time working that hard on something.
Well, I think the hardcore Chivo hunters are still going to be hardcore Chivo hunters, and there's a lot out there. We're still going to go. Like everybody in this room is definitely going to be going for the top tier, whatever the border color is. So. All right, you guys ready to do some viewer questions?
I think we had a question or two.
Yeah, I'm going to scroll through and look back. Unless you guys, do you guys have anything you wanted to say before we do that? Well, I'll let you guys have final words before we wrap up.
No, I think I pretty much was to the point. I mean,
I think we got a lot of good insight there, and I think a lot of good opinions have already been expressed so far. I think I think none of us are really hating the thing, though. Go ahead, Frank.
I'm gonna say something that's kind of off subject, but completely. Like I've noticed a lot of coming from like mine, yours, Throgs, Lifted's stream. A lot of people are coming to RA, and it makes me happy seeing more people
me too.
come to RA.
Nothing makes me feel better than when somebody comes in my chat and says, "Hey, bud, I started RA because of you." I fucking beam when people say that. That's one of the best things that you can say to me. Is, "Hey, bud, I watch you. You inspired me." And most of the time it's, well, if you can do it, anybody can do it, right? But seriously, no, it's not like that at all. Well, if his fucker can do it. No, but seriously, it's like, man, you inspired me to do this, and to me, that means a lot.
Yep.
I mean, to add to that, Bud, I mean, I wouldn't have got. I mean, it was a big part of getting me into RA. It was helping Frank and Chard with sets and stuff, working on Symphony of Night and Super Metroid. That's what got me to kind of think, community. Wow, I can do this.
Yeah, the community, the community strength and the strength of the community is a huge draw, and that's the best part of the whole thing to me. Even maybe above getting the badges is just all the awesome people. Definitely above the badges, above everything else, all the awesome people that I've been able to make friends with and meet and all that stuff. That's the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. We got some Chard Muck is being repressed. I think I went back. I think I went back too far.
Chard was mad because
I saw it. No,
you insulting RPGs.
Yeah, I'm not insulting RPGs. I just don't want to do badges for them because they're too long. Shane versus Game says, I like the idea you pitched on Discord about the game gives you a sticker. Okay, yeah. Not as flashy as a badge, but still something. Yeah, something to say, hey, you did the thing, right? Yeah, and I don't think it's condescending, although somebody said it sounded condescending. Stripey said it was condescending to call it a sticker, but we could call it a pin. I just use sticker because I've seen that term used before. Okay, Revolution asks, should bonus sets be the highest tier badge or a separate badge? I think we covered that, and I think we all agree separate.
Yeah, well, I mean, we again, as it stands right now, subsets would be a separate thing.
Yeah,
they wouldn't necessarily be in that way, so they wouldn't be mixed in.
I agree with keeping them that way too. Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Paul says none of this matters until Frank badges Final Fantasy IX.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Stripey says you don't want to alienate either party. It is tough. It is tough. These are more statements, but I'll go ahead and read them just so we can get chat's input. Nabis Evan God, I hope I didn't butcher your name, but there's going to be a ton of crying about which achievements go into what tier. There's already plenty of crying about what should be standard sets. Yeah, that's why we're going to need guidelines. I think the whoever, I don't know what the hierarchy of Retro Achievements command is, but whoever makes those type of decisions or whatever committee it is, I think they just need to set some guidelines down, like this type of thing can go in tier 1, this type of thing can go in tier 2, and et cetera. That's my input. You guys got any input on that?
I mean, I
about
think
people complaining about what goes in what tier.
look, complaining is always going to be something
Obviously,
that
yeah.
always will be the case. I mean,
We're
you're
all
never going to,
humans. Yeah.
as we said earlier, you're never going to please everybody on, what certain things are going on. I think as long as you have a forum where people can work those stuff out and they can voice their opinion, which is definitely a product of the site,
Hmm.
that's always available and those
Yeah.
sort of things. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that those will be figured out in time, when anyone's, having to set up, here's what you have to think about when it's going to be, this
Yeah.
type of achievement, or, when this kind of thing, or blah, blah, blah.
And I'm sure those
All that
discussions
will
are
be,
being had already. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they have been
Um,
for a while.
For a while,
yeah,
yeah. The original GitHub post I think was from 2018. So this has been on the back burner. Well, it's been on people's minds since at least then, and I've been talking about it without even seeing any of that for the last probably year. So, I think it's a great idea. I just hope it's implemented correctly, and if it's implemented correctly, I think it could be great, and I think it could be a boon for Retro Achievements. And I want to see the community grow. That's always
Here,
been my thing. I want more people
oh
doing it.
yeah.
here's kind of an odd question. What do you do about the games that have multiple games on it? How do you
You mean
make
like
that a
All Stars?
completionist? You
Like
have
All
All
Stars? Yeah,
Stars. You got Ninja Gaiden and
the
Trilogy.
trilogy on
Then
SNES. Yeah.
then you're gonna have the Mega Man X collection coming out here soon.
Well, don't they
Yeah,
already do those?
Yeah.
They just kind of make a set that kind of encompasses the different games within it. I think I saw Lifted working on it. Wasn't that Mega Man game he
Yeah.
was or no, that
Uh,
Castlevania game he was working on? It was Chronicles, I think, or something like that. No, it wasn't Chronicles. It was a
I mean, I
PSP
think,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
it was
I
multiple
mean, I
games.
think you'll still have the different tiers and stuff. It's just that each one will be mixed kind of with,
Yeah,
you know, each of the specific games in that compilation,
yeah.
that you'll have. So like one of them will be you just beat all, each game,
Hmm.
that'll probably be, quote unquote bronze, as Lifted was saying in his comment there. And then other ones, it'll start to be other things, collecting the heart tanks, for example, or,
um,
or doing all these other kinds of things or whatever in there. And then other ones, damageless and all those kind of
Right.
things. Again, I mean, and zero mode
Yeah.
or whatever in there. They'll all be, to their own thing. And I'm guessing that's what it'll be. Sorry, Frank, go ahead.
I I know that I know the way that they would do it, but I'm just saying then you're gonna have the arguments of, well, I don't like Mega Man X 5, 6, and 7, so why can't I get a badge for just beating Mega Man X 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Well, then my I
There
guess my
starts a
answer
whole
is
new
there'll be a
argument.
debate about that. Yeah,
That
they'll
starts a
Then
whole
don't play
new
them in the
argument.
compilation, I guess. Just play them separate. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
It yeah.
That's probably the answer. Because you're playing a compilation.
I
You're
want the
playing a
badge in
compilation.
Super Mario 3, but I don't want the badge in Super Mario 2. Well, then don't play All Stars. Go play Super Mario 3. Yeah,
Yeah, don't play the compilation
yeah, don't
game.
play the
But
compilation.
they'll want it all, bud. That's
Well,
why we're even here having this
that's why.
conversation
Well, I mean,
right
that's
now.
why. That's when you just. I don't know, man. Because like I said, you can't please everybody, and if somebody's going to be like that, I mean, to me that's somebody just being impossible. And if somebody's going to be
Well,
impossible, then they can just go off and be impossible on their own.
there'll be a forum for them to
Yeah.
for anyone to
I mean, if
voice
there's
their
a
opinion
compilation
about.
game, you have to go in. I mean, there's got to be somewhere where we draw lines and
We're
say, sorry, dude, just go do the other one.
we're
And
we're on a
Yeah, that's why we
website
have Mega Man
to
X
get
set.
we're on a website to get difficult achievements
yeah,
on harder retro games, and people complain because they
Well,
can't
because
they
people are
can't
always
get
going to
them.
complain.
exactly. That's the world.
If they make it harder, some people are going to complain. If they make it easier, some people are going to complain. And if they do the perfect solution that does the best for the most people, there's still going to be people that are going to complain. There's people complain. It's welcome to life.
Well, that's why I wish sometimes people wouldn't try to fix an unbroken system just because
Yeah.
people complain.
Well,
I mean,
it is what it is. Yeah.
I don't really agree with that. I think that I don't think the system's broken, but I just think that I don't mind bringing more
It's fine.
people in, and if there's a bar of entry that's too high for them to get their foot in the door, just to do something, I'm not against giving them something that they can
Yeah,
do to
exactly.
introduce them to retro achievements. Because some
Yeah,
people don't
so
have the courage, or maybe they don't have somebody barking at them like you were barking at me to do Mario 64, or maybe they're just sitting there, man, I'm just too afraid to do this. And if they have something they can get an attaboy for and do it, then maybe they can get some gentle encouragement to do some more difficult things, or maybe not. Maybe some people would be happy just
and
getting the stickers, and you know what? I don't think that's wrong either.
but again, I think having a system that has that thing of, okay, you did this, but hey,
Yeah.
here's some other accolades, for doing all this stuff. I think,
Yeah,
it
get
could
like a
definitely,
notification, say, hey, you got, you can do this, you do this,
yeah,
this,
exactly.
this, and that. You can get this bronze badge, hey.
And there are many people who play the site who love the games they do,
Yeah.
and sometimes that love translates to, if you just do it right,
Yeah.
they might very well be willing to go further
Right.
in that way.
So Paul, that family says, I gotta say, I still don't want to because I feel this is cheapening RA. He says I feel this is a total nerf. And further, he says, let it be hard. That's RA in my opinion. I accept I'm not good enough to do that stuff, and I don't have the temperament for it. So this is coming from the perspective of somebody who does say that, hey, I think this shit's too hard, but I'm cool with people having their thing and doing their thing, which I respect the hell out of that opinion. Maybe it's not for me, but why should I fuck it up for other people is kind of what the gist I'm getting from what he said. And, I don't disagree with that. Although I think lowering the bar of entry and having something for them, have a kiddie pool, we'll call it that, I guess. I don't know, for somebody to get some accolades for beating the game. I'm not against that, personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, I don't think they wanted to distance the softcore and hardcore players, but so it's hard for me to say this, but like, me and you both have softcore players in our streams.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at the softcore players achievements and you just kind of like roll your eyes.
I actually don't, because I don't look at people's profiles that closely, so I actually don't know who's a softcore player and who's not, because I don't monitor. I don't go through people's profiles, although I'm starting to do that more now because I think it's kind of interesting to see where my friends are at and what they're doing. But up until now, I haven't really noticed.
But what I'm getting at, though, is I think this tier system brings everybody together and everybody can be on the same leaderboard.
Sure.
And that's the good thing about the tier system.
Yeah. The tier system I'm 100% on board with. My only sticking point on it, and my only sticking point in it is on it, I think it needs to be a little bit above and beyond just get from start to credits.
Shut up, Lifted.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is always is just, again, making sure that vibe isn't lost.
Right.
That we feel is, that thing of encouraging challenge.
Right, because there's a lot. I think the veterans need to be considered very heavily, and I think they are. But I just think our voices need to be heard, and that's why that's another reason why I'm doing this. I'm hoping this gets through the devs, and they know that we're we still love RA, and we're not shitting on RA because RA is awesome. But I think this can be an extended way to kind of voice our opinions and get some opinions from chat. Maybe we'll do more episodes like this too in the future. And we'll bring people on, maybe have some more discussions, because I've been wanting to bring the podcast back for a long time, and we can even consider this the beginning of the return of the podcast, if you will.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I love doing this, and we'll do more of it. I'll be talking to you guys definitely, because I've been thinking about something. But before I go far, because that's off topic, let's get back to topic here. Let me get back to the chat. Big props to the devs, says Paul. My RA strat goal was to pass Bud, and now look at me. That's because I quit doing RA solid for a little bit, but I came back to it. So he's like, when Bud's away, solid will play, and he went and got a bunch of fucking achievements, a bunch of badges.
Now Bud has his neon claws looking at you, solid.
Ban him, Bud. Ban him.
So Ox King asks, thank you, Stripey. Ox King asks, how do you feel about Bloodlines being worth more points than Final Fantasy VII? We'll put that one on YouTube, because I don't really have an opinion on that one, because I haven't played either one yet.
I mean, to be honest, again, it's difficult to compare sets to each other because they're different games.
Yeah.
And they have different achievements and different things that are requiring you to do different things in the game. And those things will always be worth different points of according, and it will also depend on how the dev believes those achievements match up to each other in the set that they're doing. So I think that kind of question, I mean, yeah, I guess you think to yourself, it's an RPG. Mm-hmm. It should be, I'm involved in so many things. I'm playing it for many more hours.
Because of the time commitment.
Maybe typically playing into it, but that's not always the best way to look at a set. You kind of have to look at it sort of as what kind of achievements are in there, what is the set kind of requiring me to do, and on net, how does that match up? And
now, how subjective is that? Sorry to cut in, but how subjective is that? Is it totally up to the dev's discretion how many points they assign to a particular achievement, or is there like a formula or a guideline, or how does that work out? How do you guys work that out?
All of them vote on the points that the set's allowed to be the
So is there
amount
being like a review
that's allowed
process
to be.
that, because I think
Yep.
I remember you saying that, so because I don't know anything about deving other than the little bits and pieces I got from Gal. So you make a set Gal and then you submit it to what, like a committee, let's just call it a committee, and then they vote on it, or is it, how's that work?
Well, I mean, there are documents I think anyone can see if they want to. RA
Yeah.
Docs, if you search for it, you can look on how to become an achievement developer,
Yeah.
what kinds of things are really involved in there.
Yeah.
And it basically talks about, what typically what type of achievements are worth what and stuff like that and under what things. So you basically look at that, and as you're putting your achievements together, you just kind of see where those kind of things match up in that way, and that's what gets into, whether they're worth 5 points or whether they're worth, 25 or 50 or 100 or something like that. But again, a lot of that sometimes comes down to subjective, kind of things in there. But I mean, I tend to think that if you ever your achievements are overscored or something like that, I'm sure you'll get a comment about that or something,
Right.
or there are times when sets get rescored,
Mhm.
for just that kind
Yeah.
of reason, in
Well, they
that
just
sort of
did
way.
a big, massive overhaul of the scoring system too. So.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, it's not like I want to really stress it's not like something that's, oh my God, really rigid or anything. There's a
Right.
lot of wiggle room in where
Well,
they might end up in a lot of ways. And that's what gets into all the debates where people are like, this should be
yeah.
worth this much or something like that. I
Right.
mean, that happens.
You
I
know,
mean,
that would
it's
be an
not a
interesting topic
fire
too for
strategy.
another episode. And I think we could delve more into that. But I feel like we're getting a little bit off topic. My own fault for asking the question, by the way. So don't feel bad. I did that.
No.
But I do have a time crunch, and we got some more viewer questions to get to. Blitzbrom, I got you, dude. I went back and I saw your previous statement. Blitzbrom says, "What about bronze, silver, gold, and platinum badges? Bronze for beating, silver for yeah. I think this has been floated before too. Silver for X amount of Chivo points, gold for getting all the Chivos, and platinum for badging the refreshes. I guess the revision
Bonus
sets.
or subset.
Yeah, or sub. Well,
Or,
is he talking about
or
subsets? I think he's talking about
Well, I
revisions.
saw some questions also about revisions too, about how
Yeah.
that would be, but that's like a topic for another.
I think
would
that's
think
another
another
topic
day.
too. Yeah, we're gonna have more of these guys. This is fun, so we're definitely gonna be doing more of these, and I'll be having these guys and other people, inviting them to come on and do more of these discussions. I think this is valuable. I think it's been very informative, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Let me get caught back up to where the questions are. Sorry, guys.
And while you're doing that on Ox
okay, I got you.
thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
on Ox thing, you got to understand Bloodlines got a revision as well, so it got more points. Final Fantasy
That's true.
VII still sitting in its current state
Yeah.
from when it was released.
I really need to dive in and understand. I really have a lack of understanding of the point system. That's really, I need to address that. Revolution asks, should bonus sets be the highest tier badge or a separate badge? We covered that, and I think I read that already. But yeah, I think we agreed that was separate. Banned. Here's some input. You're all banned from lifted.
That's why I told him to shut up.
That's funny. Shane versus Game says, now how will the borders reflect revisions? Will you keep the border or will it revert to something else? See, and that's a good question, but I don't think anybody here can really answer that because, again, and I want to stress this, we are just community members like everybody else. We're not inside RA or anything. I just kind of took it upon myself to do this because I think it would be kind of fun to do, and I think it's a topic worth discussing.
I think that it would stay the same way. You got to think now. If you
Like it
badge
does
the
now.
game before a revision comes out, you keep the badge. It
Yeah.
just goes against your completion percentage.
Yeah, because they need
So
to
I
have to
think
have.
It would be the same way.
Because then if they do multiple revisions, like, okay, it goes from what, red to blue, and then they do another revision, then what do you have to do to green, and then to what? Or does it go back and forth? Or does it, like, it goes red if you have the thing, and then if they do a revision, it flips gray, and then you get it again and it flips red? I mean, there's a couple of ways you could implement that, but it seems it's not a thing that they do now. So I don't know. I don't know what they would do, or if they even really should do anything about that. I'm unsure on that one.
There's been discussion about when a revision comes out, taking your badge away if you don't do the revision.
No, that's bullshit.
Well, that's
It was a
not.
discussion.
I
Yeah.
that this
No, I
isn't
know.
something
That's not something they're
released
doing.
to
Yeah,
talk about,
that's
so,
but just to put that out there, that's bullshit. Don't do that.
Well,
now, if you have a border that flips gray, it once the revision's released or something like that, and then you can flip it red again, as long as you get to keep the fucking thing. I mean, I don't think they should take things away. That just seems bad.
Well, what they're trying to do is force people to do the revisions, though. Actually, I mean, you got to understand that as well.
I don't know. Maybe I need to think
that.
on that one more, but just my gut reaction on that one is I don't like that idea at all.
Well,
What do you think,
Well,
Gal? I think I talked over you a bit there. I think you had some input.
well, again, I mean, it's difficult to really talk about something that you really don't know what the full
Yeah.
gist
Yeah.
of it is. Again, I
Yeah,
haven't
I don't
really
think
seen
we're
any
really
talk
the
about
ones
it
to
in like
answer that question
a while.
directly. Yeah.
So, I'll wait before more is said about that sort of thing before I really interject a more concerted opinion on it. Just because I don't know.
Bud Cave never listens. What did I just missed it? What did I miss? How
What?
would oh, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna
No.
another question
Good.
from Navis Evan God asked, how would the mastery leaderboards account for different badges for the same set? How would the mastery leaderboards account for
I guess like the
yeah.
fact that you'd have different badges, I suppose, for different different aspects of what you're getting from a set, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, a
That's at
lot of
least what
this,
I'm
guys, we
guessing.
can only speculate on.
Because
So
again, they don't even really know
I
what the
I
full method is even going to look
yeah,
like. It's
I
and
w-
this
I
is
would
this is all
I would
still up in
say
the air
I
too.
would
Yeah,
say on the leaderboards though they would keep it as mastered. They would just
probably.
show
Yeah,
your number of
yeah,
mastered games.
yeah.
yeah, if you're doing all the achievements in the
Yeah.
set.
Yeah. And again, if you guys got really questions like that you guys want to address with like the RA community at large and the devs and all that, the
Yeah,
Retro
show them the
Achievements
place.
Discord is a great place to go. They have a very active Discord, and that's where I would steer you towards.
Yep.
What did okay? I missed something from Stripey, and I'm not going to worry about it.
I mean, do we ever really worry about what Stripey's talking
No,
about?
I'm sure I'll get an earful of it later.
I like to hear from Stripey.
She could, I'll read it. I'm just going to go through chat and hopefully she'll repost it. He says, I think some games need points reevaluated. Yeah, probably.
Well, if you have that opinion, that's
Too
what
late,
the
that's my
forums
level
are
of
for.
yeah.
They do rescoring events on the site where they go through and look at achievement sets to make sure they're scored correctly. So
I'm going to
it
skip through
happens.
and look for specific questions rather than statements right now, guys, because we got to get through this.
Yeah.
I think everybody should just stop crying and just get badges according to the left. Everyone take the sand out of their vagina before it turns into a pearl. Shut up, Lifted. I think to start with the low-hanging fruit, bring in a softcore leaderboard first to give our softcore players a ranking system, then maybe look at tiered badge system, but start with a 2-tiered completion challenge. That's Nabis Evangod. Yeah, I think that one's been talked about too. I don't play Blitz. Brum says I don't play softcore as long as I do RA in my banana hammock. Lifted needs to be timed out. RPG should always be worth more than because the time sink, says Air Razor. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go through these really quick. Next time we do this, we'll have more time and we can do more viewer questions. But you're not. You got greasy shit in your stream. Oh, is that what you were trying to say? That's Nicole. But how do these sets compare in challenge? Got to mow the lawn. No, I got to get to the bank. The challenge comes in the amount of time wants to spend on a game more than the game challenge. Right.
What time's your appointment at the bank?
We got to get there at 3. Gallows
Start getting ready.
Yeah. Well, I can just go. I'm dressed. I mean, shit.
Okay.
Looks like it's mostly statements, which is good. I'm just gonna skip see if we have any more questions. I asked the same question 3 times, lol. Yeah, you did. Yeah, the fuck you did. He absolutely modded a Twitch user named Strafey. Wow.
I think you're caught up on questions. Does
I am
anybody
definitely
else
caught
have
up on
any questions?
All right, guys, I'm
Yeah.
going to give it to final statements from these guys. I'll say my final statement, and if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. And if there's time, we'll answer a couple of quick ones after that. But guys, I just want to say before we sign off, thank you all so much for coming to hang out with us. I hope this has been useful. I hope my intention was never to step on any toes. I hope it doesn't feel that way. I just as a community member, as a concerned community member, as 3 concerned community members, I think that, and by concerned I mean we're interested. I just think it was valuable to have this discussion, and it was a lot of fun, and I want to bring more of this to you guys, so we'll be doing more of these in the future. And thank you all. We'll go ahead and give it to Frank for any final words from you, dude.
Thanks for having me, bud, for one.
Yeah.
And my cat decided to jump up in my lap. But yeah, I think it was nice hearing yours and Gall's opinions on things and some of chats and
Yeah.
And my final word is just get them achievements and stop bitching about it.
How about you, Gal? What's your final thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm not gonna go too embellishing. I mean, I kind of said what I said, but to start off, thanks for having me, Bud. Always a pleasure to talk with you and Frank and, my RA fam. Always a pleasure, sharing the things that we always enjoy about these games and challenging ourselves and all that stuff. And it's good stuff, to kind of look forward to. Hopefully, all those kinds of things of, balancing accessibility and challenge. That's always the kind of real struggle always with implementing, things like this. And
sorry, I'm laughing at lifted.
Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully all those things can be meted out in time.
Yeah.
As it's being put forth. And always a pleasure being on.
Yeah, guys, and thank you both for being here. This was very interesting. I think I learned something. I hope we put some valuable information out there, just our opinions expressed, and maybe this will be helpful to the RA community and the devs. Hopefully so. That's really what this is about. And I think that does it, guys. In chat, everybody, thank you for hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and let these guys go here in just a minute, and then I'll be back on and we'll do a raid and all that stuff. But we're going to go ahead and sign off for today, for the day, so because I got to get my ass out of here. But Frank, Gal, thank you guys so much. I'm going to switch scenes now, and guys in chat, hang tight. I'll be back in like a minute, and then we'll do our sign off.
And Gal's fucking banned.
Yeah, just went.
There's my music. All right, that was fun, guys. Once again, that was kind of an impromptu thing, last minute thing. I just kind of seized an opportunity. I saw that there was some new stuff going on in Retro Achievements. A lot of it exciting, a lot of it fun, a lot of it going to be very good. Some of it maybe not necessarily bad, but I think we need to know, what's going to be happening moving forward. Again, this was all speculation on our fault. None of us are official RA, devs or involved directly in it, other than we're community members like you who play the games, and some of us dev it, some of us play it, some of us get the achievements. And, I just wanted to get our voices out there. And I think the devs of our Retro Achievements are doing a great job of communicating with us and having those avenues in their Discord and in their GitHub and in their forums of communication. So this doesn't speak anything to a lack in any way of what the Retro Achievements community is doing. This is just something that I wanted to do in addition for the community that I love so much, because I love you guys. I love RA. I love Frank and Gal and God help me, even Stripey Lobster and Lifted Senses and Throg and everybody in chat that I didn't name. You guys are all amazing. This is always fun. We're going to be doing more podcasts. We're bringing back the podcast. There's going to be old faces and new faces in it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This was kind of an impromptu experiment, and I think it was a great success. RA is amazing. Keeps you around, right? Yes. Stripey is fucking awesome. Yes, we love Stripey. I love you, Stripey. I'm just kidding. You know that. I'm not going to forget Lifted. That would be a hate crime. Wow, but I love Lifted, so I can't commit. How can I hate somebody that I love? I don't think that's how it works. We got a raid today. Let me find somebody to raid. This was fun. I gotta get Lifted, get his butt on here. Oh, Chardy's live. All right, let's raid Chardmonk. I haven't raided Chardmonk in a long fucking time. I don't even know what he's playing, but we're gonna raid my friend Chardmonk. I don't think he's doing RA, but I love him, so I'm gonna raid him anyway. Guys, I'm out here. I gotta get my ass to the bank before they close. We gotta get this stupid account closed out. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm probably gonna take a break from Mega Man X and I'm going to have a Sega Saturday. Tomorrow I'm just going to play Sega games as a break for something to do on a Saturday. And then on Monday we'll pick back up on the Mega Man X 2 because we're going to get that fucking badge. I just got to rest my hands. I got the fucking the Mega Man claw fingers from gripping that controller. It's making me crazy. First topic is emotes, yes. Have a great one, guys. I am out of here. Love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow for Sega Saturday. We're rating Chardmonk. Make sure you show him the love. Until then, take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I love you. Bye.
Is talking on the phone getting out of hand? Look out! You need Phone Relief, the ultimate and hands-free phone design. Watch. Simply attach the special double-back fastener to any phone. Then attach the Phone Relief headset. It's that easy. Hands-free, pain-free. You'll wonder how you ever lived without it. It's perfect for remotes. Now talk hands-free anywhere, anytime. Office work is a pain for Mr. Phone in the Neck, but you won't miss Sipping with hands-free freedom. A must for the entire office. Work goes quicker and easier. The padded headset removes this easily and is fully adjustable. Best of all, Phone Relief works with your favorite phone. An amazing breakthrough product you'll use every day. Now only $12.95. Call toll-free to order by credit card and make this your last phone of the neck call.
Call now 1-800-866